fire away.
Coach, was it a bit of a baptism by fire, the bowl game when you were coaching the tight ends?
Well, I told Coach Richardson, coaching one guy, man, that's easy. Watching one person. No, it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. Felt good about the run block and stuff, and knew I could learn a lot about the passing game. So, yeah, I kind of thought I had I knew the transition was happening. I thought I could take advantage of some of the schedule and get my thoughts in order and practice plans for the spring, and then that changed. Yeah, so it definitely did.
How's the center situation going right now?
Well, I couldn't be more proud of Will Putnam. Can't brag on him enough. I mean, he's done an amazing job. From the minute we had that conversation, he's been out here whenever they're able to throw it on their own, and he's been snapping with DJ and getting the younger guys out here, and so he's had very few snap issues. And then from a technique standpoint, he's doing a phenomenal job. So he's a natural, and he's done a great job. Very selfless guy, and there's not a tougher kid on our team, playing with a little bit of an ankle issue, but he's not going to miss anything.
You did that same kind of move when you played. How you helped him with that transition?
Well, I think when the worst thing as a center is when you make a bad snap, right? Because then everyone who's around you has an opinion on how to fix it. And so I think I've experienced that. I've success and failure, right? I've had bad snaps, and so, hey, refocus. Here's your process. Here's what you can do to fix it. And one thing I'll say about Will is he can self-correct himself. I think when guys make that transition, they don't always know when they have a bad snap, and if they do, where it goes. But he knows, hey, that was low, that was high. So he's doing a really good job.
If there's an ideal in your mind, is it that he establishes himself as the guy, or that Trent Howard or Ryan comes along and?
Yeah, well, I mean, we got to get the best five on the field, So whether that's with Putt at center and someone else at guard, or whether that's Putt going to guard and Trent or Ryan coming on. Those guys, Trent and Ryan, have done really well, and they've been working really hard. I'm really, really excited about their progress. But they're young guys, and it's a developmental position. So, and then, if COVID and last year has taught us anything, is that it's the next man up mentality. That, let's say, puts the guy going into the season where you're an injury away or you're a positive COVID test away from someone else being in there. I think Hunter Rayburn popped positive the day of Syracuse, and Mason Trotter goes in and played well. So, yeah, we need depth at that position, and you need guys that can play it.
Who's repping at the line at right guard right now?
At right guard, yeah. So it's been kind of Mitch Mays, and Mitch is out with a little elbow issue, and so John Williams has been getting those reps. With J-Mac out, Brian Tucker was playing left guard, but he played some right guard today too. So, feel really good about those guys coming back that started last year. And so we're rotating a couple guys in there at right guard, try to find our best five.
You mentioned McFadden now. What's his status?
Oh, he's good to go now. Yeah,
okay.
He just missed 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine. He was back out there today. Yes,
okay.
Sir.
And we've seen Coach Caldwell hanging around in a few practices last week. How much is he involved and engaged with you, and how does your coaching style differ? I imagine you'll continue cross-training these guys.
Well, obviously, y'all know my relationship with Coach Caldwell goes back to high school. My high school coach and him were roommates at Furman, and so I've known Coach Caldwell forever. And he recruited every guy on that field, and so those are still his guys. And so we're thankful he's around, and it's like a different for him now. He's not in the weeds as much, so he gets to enjoy watching the fruit of his labors and watch those guys practice, and then what he's bringing from an off the field high school relations. I feel like every time I walk in my office, he's talked to half the high school coaches in the state, and they all have a recruit, and so he's going to continue to work and provide value and be a big cheerleader for those guys up front.
I know you can't talk about specific guys, but has there been any progress as far as transfer portal and trying to bring people in?
Yeah, we're like I said, we're trying to get our best five on the field, and so we're exhausting all options, and I love the guys we have. I feel loyal to those guys, but if there's a guy out there that fits what we're looking for, not just as a player, but from our culture, and then we're certainly gonna exhaust every option.
If Putnam ends up having to be the guy, how much confidence do you have in him considering going out there?
Yeah, I got a lot of confidence right now. He's done a heck of a job. He had 31 competitive plays yesterday and just had one low snap, or Wednesday, I'm sorry. Yeah, today's Friday, right? Wednesday. And so he's done a heck of a job, and the good thing about his snaps right now is if he misses, they're low. They're not over the head where you're you're chasing after and it's a turnover. So we've got a lot of confidence in what his progression. Only 6 practices in, he's done a phenomenal job.
As far as like the calls and stuff, is he doing okay with that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart football player. He's played a lot, and so he knew those calls at guard. I think, and that's where the benefit of cross training is. It teaches you the big picture. We've changed a few of our calls and try to simplify some things, and so he's done a good job kind of, catching on to that pretty quick.
What's the center responsible for pre-snap? How does that change for him?
Well, he sets the blocking scheme, so he IDs based off this run or pass, who the zone combination or the gap scheme combination is going to. If it's a pass, who we're IDing and sliding to, and everyone else sets their combination blocks off of his point. So if he's wrong, we're all wrong. And so at guard, as a young player, now as an older player, he knows the points, but young guys, he tells them what to do basically. So it all starts with the center, and then the quarterback, really verifies that.
About the relationship and the chemistry between the center and the quarterback, how important is that compared to?
Yeah, they've got to see things the same way. I think, and that's like Put's put in the work. He's worked hard with DJ to get extra snaps, and I think they're getting some extra film study in, especially from a protection standpoint. As we get into game prep and how we want to ID protections that week, those guys got to be on the same page, and communicate well.
I know you assisted Coach Caldwell last season. How crazy was it just with all the moving pieces that you had to move around, trying to find a starting center, just the different lineups from week to week?
Yeah, that it's not ideal, certainly not ideal. But that's why you cross-train guys. Coach Caldwell did as good a job as anybody in cross-training and trying to constantly get your best 5 guys on the field. I think, for me, philosophically, it's cross-training enough to give yourself options, but also not cross-training to a degree that guys don't feel confident in one position. So I think it's, what are your best 5 guys, and what's the best position for each guy, and then where does he add depth, in a cross-training standpoint. So being able to watch Coach Caldwell, navigate that in the past has been helpful for me for sure.
What is your coaching style, and how are you different than Coach Caldwell, and how you want to put your stamp on these guys?
Well, I want to be consistent every day. I want to bring the same energy and focus, and I don't want to ride highs and lows of, and so I think these guys deserve my best. And one thing I've always loved about sports, no matter what's going on in your personal life, when you get on the field, you got to clock in and do your job, and it's an escape for that reason. So I'm going to try to bring the juice every day. I think I'm going to try to be consistent with them. I'm going to be fair with them. I think if we have the right kind of guys that don't need my foot up their butt every single day, right? Because my job is to get them to be the best version of themselves, and so I'm going to help them do that. And if we have strong leadership, they should be pushing each other to do that. But I want to be a technician. I mean, I tried to pride myself on that as a player. But we want to play with great effort, we want to play with great technique, and we want to play with great toughness. I think those are the 3 things we really want to be as a unit.
How was Tate done with his progression since?
Yeah, Marcus has been great. He's really taken steps. I mean, he did a great job getting on the field early, and I think as the season went on, just everything that's involved in being a true freshman in college, I think caught up to him a little bit. And so he's done a great job, and he's another guy that gives you the ability to play multiple positions. With J-Mac missing a practice or 2, he played a lot of left tackle, and so feel very confident in his ability to play tackle or guard. And so he's really, that's a good group. Him and Phil Maffa and Jake Brenningstool and those guys are a really, really tight group of people. Yeah, it's been
whether it was last year or just in your time knowing Robbie Caldwell, what is something that you kind of gleaned from him or learned from him that you want to implement now?
Well, I think Coach Caldwell's always done a good job of keeping it simple for the guys. Coach Caldwell's been in more schemes, more offenses. He knows more football, but he does a great job of really boiling it down to the making it as easy for those guys as possible. It's not what we know, it's what they know. And so I think he's always done a good job of that. And those kids love him. I mean, they played hard for him. And so, I think players are a reflection of their coaches. And if they're not playing hard, that's because you're not doing your job as a coach. And if they are playing hard, you're doing your job.
Kind of along those same lines, what did you learn from Shawn Elliott during your time at Georgia State?
Well, I can't think of a better person to work for than Shawn Elliott. We're from the same hometown, but I never really met him until I went down to interview for him. Obviously, he's a great person to work for, and it's a great. Loved coming to work every day for him. Just a great person. Great Summers' wife is awesome. And then from an football standpoint, learned a lot from him from a run game standpoint, from just the way to break down defenses and how to try to attack them and how to run the inside zone, the option. I mean, he has a proven track record of doing those things well. And one of the things from Shawn is just like, hey, just get them to play hard. I mean, that's like that can playing with extreme effort and toughness can overcome deficiencies technique wise, physically, whatever. So he was a great guy to work for.
You came in here with CJ and blocked for him for 4 years. How cool was it to see him inducted in the Hall of Fame and now to be coaching with him?
Yeah, no, special. I mean, I was fortunate enough to play in the NFL for a few years too, but there wasn't a guy that was more talented than CJ on any team I played for. And then just an unbelievable person, and so that his senior year, he battled that toe injury all year and just showed up and worked and, had a chance to leave early, but wanted to graduate, and so I think he's the epitome of a Clemson man, and it was certainly a pleasure to play with him.
What does the offensive line need to do better in 2022?
That's a good question. I think consistency. I think we settled in last year to our best group. I think last year we were just young and some injuries, so we've got more experience this time around than we did last year at every place on our offense, and so I think for our veteran guys, it's taken the next step, and then we have some young guys that need to develop. They need to, whether that's losing a little bit of weight, or whether that's gaining a little bit of weight, or whether that's really understanding the finer details of the position. And so, we need more functional depth than we had last year. And so that's where that next group of guys has to really step up.
Only 6 practices in. What have you seen out of those freshmen?
Man, those guys are phenomenal. I mean, I told Coach Caldwell, man, he saved the best for last. Those 2 guys are great. Not just great players, but they check every box. Just phenomenal people, great students, great families. That's the prototype. If you're looking for what you want to recruit moving forward, you want more Collin Sadlers and Blake Millers. So they've done a great job. Blake's been playing with the second team right tackle, really since camp started almost. And then Collin's done a great job playing tackle, and he played some guard today, and feels natural in a 3-point stance. But those guys they're big, they're physical, they're athletic, and they're smart. So you can work with that.
Yeah, Marcus came in early last year and was really advanced physically and had a good spring. Do you see them on the sort of the same?
Certainly, I certainly do. I mean, those guys, they came in and just got to work and earned the respect of their teammates, in the weight room and how they went through off-season workouts. And so they're physically, they came in ready to play. Great strength programs, great coaching. Those guys really came in well developed, and they've really picked up on it well. I think our install plan has been manageable for them, and I think they're very few. I think each one of those guys had one mental mistake, in their first scrimmage, which is really good. And Collins came playing guard that he hadn't played yet, and Blake's really wasn't a mental. He made a call, but it was too late. So those guys are doing a phenomenal job.
Nick Eason was saying that they want to simplify the defense some. I know you mentioned simplifying some things on the offensive line. Is that a concerted effort as a staff, or is that just kind of a coincidence?
Well, I think one thing, from a defensive standpoint, when they simplify their install, it allows them to work fundamentals and techniques. It also allows us to work fundamentals and techniques. When you have to prepare for every defense imaginable, you have to spend time working on your responsibilities, and it takes away from some of your technique and fundamental stuff. So we certainly want to simplify things, be great. I think if you can simplify things in spring and fall and get great at what you want to be, then it gives you more flexibility in season to add wrinkles and things as it goes on. So certainly plan. We're doing it.
Still haven't seen 47 blitzes yet.
Haven't seen 47 blitzes yet. No, yeah. So it's the shock and awe. It's not, no. So it's been good. I think it's gotten both sides better for sure.
Will's move to center is beneficial for his future, just in terms of projected potential?
Certainly, yeah, certainly. I mean, I had to play all three. Most people don't know, but you only dress out 7 linemen on game days in the NFL, and so the more positions you can play, the more you can help yourself. And so I think he's certainly helping his stock by playing center.
How much of a blessing was it to get McFadden back?
Oh yeah, man, that's the best kid. We couldn't have signed a better recruit than Jordan McFadden. So, again, just unbelievable kid, great team player, is a quiet leader but brings guys along with him, and so he's about his business, and he's not just out here, clocking in. He's trying to get better. He's trying to improve his fundamentals and techniques and his understanding of football. It's been exciting to watch.
Is there anybody who's really kind of caught your eye that you're like, yeah, okay?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all those guys. I mean, I've been really. I mean, I think Put's really caught my eye. I mean, he's made the transition. Made it look, I don't want to say easy, but he's doing really well. And then both, Putnam and Parks have been very consistent. Parks and Jordan have been very consistent at tackle. And to see Marcus make that next step. So anytime we go in the staff meeting and we're talking about, is there any, coach always asks, is there anyone you're disappointed in who's not coming along? I said, no. I mean, I'm excited about all these guys, and I think they're all developing and they're all putting the work in. That's really all you can ask for.
I was going to ask, is that something that led to some of those middle mistakes, especially early last year? Is just maybe not spending as much time on the fundamentals and not being as
no, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think football can be a complicated game, I mean, we went right out of the gate playing the national champs, so your margin of error is very small when you play a team of that caliber, and I don't think it was that as much as just we had to settle into who our identity was going to be, and you had injuries at certain positions, and I think one thing is not just the injuries we had during the season, but some of the injuries we had in preseason camp that affects your rhythm, wide receiver and quarterback, and some of those running backs, and then up front, guys missing time, and so I think it's more just settling in, to who you want to be and your identity. So that's probably more what I would say.
With a lot of those injuries, I mean, it's obviously part of the game. There's only so much you can do. That's
right.
But are there any, precautions? Are any more precautions being taken because of how injuries affected the O-line last year?
Yeah, well, if it was all, we had 5 ACLs, we had 5 shoulders, and there was some kind of correlation there that you could look to, maybe. I think Coach Hogan and Coach Batson do a phenomenal job in the weight room, and Alex Bina in the castle. I mean, we try to do a lot of preemptive exercises and stuff. So, football's a violent game. I mean, it really is. I think we've been very fortunate in years past. We haven't had injuries. My first year at Georgia State, for instance, we were having a great run, and then we lost 5 or 6 players every week. It just kind of happened. So I think we're taking every step we can as a program. We always check our policies and what we're doing, and so I just think it was kind of one of those years, for whatever reason.
What have you seen of Tristan Leigh so far?
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy. If you asked me, a guy that's probably caught my eye. I should have mentioned Tristan earlier. The gains that he has made from when he got on campus to right now is unbelievable. So it's a testament to Tristan buying in. Sometimes you get a guy who's really highly recruited like Tristan, and you redshirt him. That some of those guys don't respond well to that. And Tristan, he had very high self-awareness. He knew he needed to improve, his body and flexibility and all that stuff. And he's done a phenomenal job. I keep using that word, but he's done a great job. And he's been playing left tackle for us, repping with that second group, and he's done a great job. He really has. You can't say enough good things about Tristan. I mean, I told Coach Sweeney he's probably the most improved guy up front. Just from when he got here to where he is now. It's fun to see.
Any guys in particular on the defensive line that have caught your attention?
I think Rook has really taken a step forward. I mean, he had a great year last year, but he's been very disruptive inside. I mean, it's the crazy thing is, you don't have Brian, you don't have Trey, so it's like, it's gonna be fun when they get back in the fall. But no, I think Rook has done well. ET's shown flashes. Those guys inside are taking the next step, and then we're just rolling them in at defensive end. Coach Hall, he just pull a name out of the hat. But that's, I think one thing when you talk about a defensive line, it's just those guys have been very selfless, and they're maximizing the reps they get, and they're cheering for each other when they're not repping. So I think that's a testament to our culture and what those guys are doing on defense.
You mentioned John Williams at guard. Because how's he performed coming off that knee injury?
Yeah, John's doing well. He's still improving physically. Getting stronger every day. But he took all those reps. At right guard on Wednesday, and he's holding his own. So I've been really happy. He was playing tackle last fall, and then kind of bumped into guard right before he got hurt, and is really kind of settling in there. So John's doing a good job.
I guess what's that process like of cross-training guys, and how have you seen them kind of handle different situations?
Well, we try to cross-train an individual by the way we set up our drills, where you might have a guy working left guard, left tackle, then they flip a rep, or you work the same drill but out of both stances, just to cross-train them an individual, and then cross-train them in some of our inside drills, our pass rushing drills, so it's not just, hey, the first time you're playing a different position is live against the defense. So we try to train that way. We try to incorporate things in the weight room where they're working out of both stances, working left foot up, right foot up. And then just getting those guys to understand it's the best thing for the team. So again, I think you want to manage helping a guy settle in and learn that position and feel confident there. But then also knowing that you cross-train to give the team the best opportunity. So I think if you cross-train them too much, they can never really settle into their most natural position. So it's definitely a tightrope trying to walk.
Yeah. Thanks, Dick.
Yeah, man.